Are you we out here?
Are we out here?
Yeah.
We them boys.
We them boys?
Doing the real shit.
Sitting VIP with my Bible full of LSD.
Star Wars Galaxies. That MMO. That one MMO that everyone says was good before Sony ruined it because of World of Warcraft. Goddamn Blizzard and their games ruining genres and stuff. That's why Star Wars Galaxies went through so many changes before finally ending in 2011. But what was my experience with it? What compelled me of all people to play this game off and on for years, all the way up until now in 2021? Surely this game couldn't offer something that a lot of games still don't. But it does. It still offers a unique experience to this day, which I absolutely love, and a lot of people still do. There's thousands of fans, young and old, still keeping the dream alive across the various versions of this game from, oh god, pre-CU, post-CU, pre-NGE, and post-NGE. Yeah, there's like a lot of different versions of this game. It's kind of hard to tell you which does what and who would want to play which version. It's kind of mind-boggling, honestly. But honestly, this is me talking about my experiences then and now, and how you can join in on the action if you want to. But you shouldn't want to. Honestly, you should need to. It's fun. You know, trust me, I'm a guy on the internet. Star Wars Galaxies, like I said, is an MMORPG set in the Star Wars universe, right after the Battle of Yavin. Yavin. I say this because obviously the game is still being played to this day, and in rather active communities, but we'll talk about that later. What was the game like when it was live? To do this, we kind of had to break the game down in like 3 different eras. The game went through so many changes, way more than Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, that Realm Reborn shit ain't got nothing on Star Wars Galaxies. Absolutely fucking nothing.
There's always something new there for you.
First was the pre-combat upgrade, what the game was like at launch. I was way too young to play this, even though Baby Drill was, well, I was playing online games almost too early than I should have been. My parents weren't about to buy me a subscription to this game. You had professions in this game, but no Jedi. No, they were actually incredibly rare to the point that people didn't even think that they were there in the game. But they were. You just had to complete some strange, almost arbitrary criteria unknown to you to unlock the ability to be one. Combat was incredibly unbalanced and made a ton of the professions absolutely useless. I'm only able to tell you this now through extensive research because I wasn't even old enough to play. I definitely wouldn't have been old enough to even comprehend anything that old MMOs would have thrown at me at the time. Combat actions were also queued, like KOTOR sorta, so you weren't able to do everything at once and basically had to wait for your action to resolve before the next one could fire off. Content was also lacking hardcore. Most of the content was centered around PvP, and of course there was no jump to light speed yet. Which, you know, kind of adds the star part to Star Wars, which makes up like half the series, you know? There wasn't any space content, or starships. Nothing. Kind of need that if you're gonna make a Star Wars game, just saying, but... This is where everything gets kind of weird, because most people only argue about pre-CU and post-NGE, never in between, which existed. Not for very long, but you know, it was there. They changed combat a bit, making it a lot more faster paced and balanced. Jedi were still rare, but rather becoming one through a strange set of weird circumstances. It was a quest. I also kind of forgot to mention that prior, if you became a Jedi, you could only die like 3 times before you weren't a Jedi anymore. And now they changed it to where you just lose skills instead of, you know, your whole ass career. Much more forgiving, I would say. Still made Jedi rare, but Still made Jedi rare, but they were a lot more common. The profession system was still there. Honestly, the class system didn't change all too much. You had 34 things to choose from and combine. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say about this era. I just felt like it should be mentioned, at least because the game still existed in a semi-pre-CU form. I wasn't there for long because a new expansion was on the way that had a lot of Jedi-focused content. At this point in time, there were 2 expansions, Jump to Lightspeed and Rage of the Wookiees. Wookiees added a new planet and some space content, with the ground content being dungeon and instance-based rather than the other planets, which were like these massive places, like 16 kilometers long, I think. Long, big. They were big. Then it all changed when Obi-Wan got his own expansion.
Hello there.
Yeah, this is where all the grognardedness of Star Wars Galaxies comes to play. You see, 2 weeks after the release of Trials of Obi-Wan, Sony rolled out the new game Enhancements. Those 34 professions, gone. Rare Jedi, not rare anymore. That combat that was rather methodical yet a bit faster than what it used to be, completely changed. Like, completely. Where 34 professions once stood, 9 classes remained. You can now pick Jedi from the very beginning. Whole metas were eradicated in the course of however long it took people to download the new patch. Refunds, account consolidations, the whole like, all were happening because their beloved game got slapped with another huge change yet again. At least the CU with the profession system stood, and the game was changed from the vanilla game it was, but now with NGE, it was like they were playing World of Warcraft dressed as Star Wars. Honestly, this is all to get people to play as the game was made much more easier than it was before, and obviously, when things get easy, the grognards come out and start to complain.
You youngins and your more simplistic play styles. Back in my day we had to basically reference a whole textbook in order to play our games.
Something along those lines, I'm sure. This is where I came in, shortly after the NGE was implemented. I was ignorant to the CU, I was ignorant to the changes Sony made in the NGE. To me at that age, this was how the game was all the time. Say what you will about the NGE, I still fell in love with the game, like hardcore. They added loads of content, and kept the game going for another 6 years. Impressive given the fact that Sony botched this game harder than No Man's Sky at launch. And I'm not joking either. People still to this day get like violently angry when you talk about pre and post NGE. Like supposedly Sony still receives hate mail to this day about it. That's dedication. If you go into space, it's a completely different game. The MMO element gets torn out completely and it's a Twitch-based spaceflight sim. Flying is simplistic, so don't expect to be pulling off like hardcore moves in the engine, but it gets the job done, and it's fun regardless. Just like in the ground game, there's PvP out in an area called Deep Space. You go there, you shoot at each other, it's great, it's great fun, it's awesome. If you like PvP, just go there, you'll have fun. PvP is actually pretty extensive in this game too. There's the Galactic Civil War mechanic where you play as either the Imperials or the Rebels. Both factions fight for control of each planet, and if you're part of the faction that controls that particular planet, you get a bunch of bonuses like reduced shuttle wait time and cloning service reduction, which is how you can revive after dying. There's also a pretty neat thing called bunker busting, which allows you and your faction to go find player-placed bunkers and wipe them out for boosts and control of these planets. So with that out of the way, what was my time like playing that game in a practical post-apocalypse? Fun. Rather fun. Still the bar to which I compare MMOs to this day. SWG kind of ruined them for me, but why? Why? You see, this game offered quite a bit, and to young me who was like a hardcore Star Wars fan, I mean honestly I still am, it was like a wet dream essentially. I can fly ships, I can own ships that people walk around in, I could decorate them, I can own a house on Tatooine and a vacation home on Naboo, I can immerse myself in Star Wars more than I ever was able to. Which, I mean, to young me, again, was a bit to my detriment. I didn't actually level that far in the game, like barely. Barely leveled at all. I mean, I got kind of far in my piloting at least. I was a lot more concerned with exploring these places to their fullest than really leveling my character, and it didn't really help that I joined a guild that basically threw money at me because I was new. I mean, I don't know if they knew I was really young at the time either, or they may have, and they were just kind of placating a child who was just amazed by this game. Either way, I had money. Lots of it. Actually, millions of credits I really didn't need, but I had. And I was gonna spend that shit. I bought speeders, houses, things I couldn't even use as a level 15 Jedi. I was just buying things because they looked cool. It was amazing. People were probably confused as to why a level 15 Jedi was flying around in a really expensive speeder that could hold like 8 people in it, but hey, I didn't care. I was living the life. They weren't. Frankly, I was flaunting my wealth, but my guildmates seemingly didn't care. Or they did, and I didn't realize it. One of the two. Then there was exploring these massive sandboxes. I wish I could remember the server I was on, but these places were huge, giant, massive. Like I said, about 16 kilometers of explorable area for every planet. And in that world space are cities. Not just regular cities built by the devs, but cities built by players. Some planets could be covered by huge settlements, while some had small pockmarks of life here and there. But where once these cities had tons of people in them, now they were just ghost towns. Most notably was Tatooine. I kind of was expecting life to be in these places as Sony once did. They had cantinas, town halls, shops, your usual stuff you'd see in a town or city, but it was empty. I'd sometimes grab a friend I had made in the guild who was probably around my age too, and we would just explore these places. I wish I remembered his name, honestly. It was nice just to explore these places, walk around in those cantinas, see where these people used to once hang out, roleplay, or relax, where guilds would sit and plan out their PvP or PvE events. Where people had their houses, their stores, their factories. It was like Pripyat, but no radiation. No cute dogs that would probably give you like turbo cancer, and no Slavs. The one time we actually found a group of people, it was in the middle of nowhere on Yavin 4, deep in the forest. We were kind of cruising around as we usually did, and one of my speeders I threw credits at because I had money, as usual. We were putting along with my cruise control on, chatting. No clue about what, honestly, but we were chatting. Then we came across a few people struggling against a random creature. We helped them, and a few people that were standing around kind of needed a ride back to their city or village or whatever. It was really small. I pulled out my hot new whip, capable of carrying everyone, and let them direct me to their town. Honestly, I don't know what else I did for the rest of my day, but that moment stuck out to me. And frankly, I haven't really had an experience since. I mean, honestly, the only game that really truly came close to this is Star Citizen. Yeah, Star Citizen, I said it. It's fun. I happen to like it. But it's broken and buggy. Kinda like Star Wars Galaxies. Maybe that's why I like it. I like punishment, probably. Don't question me.
Come here, baby. Let me teach you something.
Star Wars Galaxies may or may not be right for you, honestly. It's old, and it shows its age absolutely hardcore. The animations are jank. The game is jank. The jump button is not even a jump. The models kind of look like Play-Doh. My character kind of looks like Bargain Bin Kyle Katarn, and you'll probably be hella confused the whole damn time, pre or post NGE. But you know what? It's fun. I have fun. There's 2 big emulators everyone plays, with a third one coming out that is set during the post-CU pre-NGE era. Star Wars Galaxies emulator, which is pre-CU, and Star Wars Galaxies Legends, which is post-NGE, and the one I personally play. EMU doesn't have JTL still, and all that content that Legends has isn't there. So while you'll have the pre-CU grognards knocking at your door because you're playing the NGE version of the game, you could rest easy knowing that you have way more content than they will ever have. So honestly, you know, they could suck it. Word of caution though, the way you play this game is kind of weird. It's not like Phantasy Star Online Blue Burst, which you could just get for free. I'll have to talk about that game in another video. Technically, the emulations of Star Wars Galaxies are completely free, but you still need a copy of the original game in order for it to work. Disc copy or digital copy. Thankfully, for whatever reason, I have both a disc copy and a digital copy. Again, don't ask. You can't obtain the digital copy anymore unless you somehow find a website that has one somehow, and disc copies might run you close to $100 or more because now people who are quote-unquote collectors are jacking up the prices because they're all assholes. Your best bet is probably eBay, where some people are reasonable, some. All in all, play Legends or anything post-NGE until Restoration comes out if you want to play pre-NGE. You get more content. Oh shit. Oh. Hold on, someone's at my door. Oh god, they're trying to force me to play pre-CU. Help!
I've gone up on drugs so much, I don't think I can come down. I really don't.